Welcome, everybody, to the Dark Screen Society. And I'll tell you what, we're doing comedy horror today, and there ain't nothing funnier than waking up at 8 a.m. and getting a drunk text from our co-host, Seth, of a llama dressed up in cute little Christmas clothes. So that's how I started my day, and it fit appropriately for horror comedy. I'm Chuck. I'll be your host today, and we're here with Gigi.
Hello. Oh my god. Oh, my fucking cat. Sorry.
Oh, my fucking cat. See, it's comedy day. We told you. Brian.
Hello, I did not get that text from Seth.
It's because he fucking hates you. Seth?
Hi, guys. I sent it to Nessie, dude. I thought she'd show you.
Here we go. Oh, my fucking cat.
Oh, she loves us today.
This will now be known as the cat episode.
That's cute.
She's blind.
Oh, she's beautiful. She's blind?
Yeah.
How come she doesn't have a little stick?
A stick? Oh.
Yeah, like a little like a little tapper stick.
She's drinking my coffee.
She likes coffee. That's good.
Yeah, let me get some of that coffee.
Yeah.
I need some.
So has anybody watched anything of before we jump in? We're being comical today. We're doing horror comedy, which is my least favorite genre. But after digging through horror comedies, I realized there's a lot more that I like than I thought that I did. I was very surprised. Like, I actually, to the point that I think that I can't no longer say it's my least favorite genre because I have a list that's ridiculous. But did you watch anything of note that you'd like to talk about, Gigi? Or you just want to talk about your cat?
Fucking shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with her right now.
She wants to join the podcast.
Dude. I watched Silent Night for the first time, and that was really good. What else did I watch? I watched something. I rewatched Thanksgiving, and honestly, so after our last episode, when I rewatched it, I was like, wait, I actually really liked this. And I still stand firm that if it wasn't a Thanksgiving movie, it probably wouldn't be that good, or not that good. Not it's, dude, what do you want from me? It probably wouldn't be that memorable, but it's still very good. So, and I finally watched the season finale of From. And I gotta say, it's taken a weird turn, and I don't even know if I like it anymore. It's doing a lot, guys. It's doing a lot. Does anybody watch From?
Yeah, I need to. I watched season 2. I've not watched season 3 yet because I was waiting for it to finish, and then I thought I'll binge it because I don't like watching week on week.
It's doing a lot where I'm like, I don't know if I like the direction it's going.
It felt that way after 2, to be fair.
Yeah. Okay, that's true.
Cat.
This fucking cat. Somebody else go.
Brian, what about you, Brian? What'd you watch this week, bud?
I've been on, as you've probably seen from my posts, an analog horror kick recently.
Yeah.
So I've just been knee deep in that. It's so good. It's so.
Did you watch Greylock?
Well, it's been forgotten. It was actually me that sent Greylock to you in the first place. But okay. You guys all take all the credit for it.
That's fine.
That's
fine.
So
good. Yeah, my brain's shot. That's okay.
It's okay. I recommended him a movie yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, Sydney told me about it." It was the one we talked about the podcast last week. Too.
It was Silent Night. It was Silent Night. It was so good.
My brain.
I saw him on your story. He tagged you, did he not?
I did.
No, that's for kill.
So the ones that I recommend are Local 58 TV. It's only six. I've seen it. Cool. That's really good. Actually,
wait, I want to put this on my list.
Yeah, what's it called?
Local 58 TV.
Local 58 TV. I'm not really a big analog horror fan.
Well, I didn't think I was either, but this is not what I think analog horror is, with just constant glitches and stuff. This is a TV broadcast where it's so there's one episode in particular about I don't know what the term is, a public service announcement warning thing, and it is so freaky.
It's a web series.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost all the analog horrors, like YouTube's or web series type.
Okay. I've seen a couple of on YouTube before, but okay.
Yeah. Another one I recommend is Gemini Home Entertainment.
Banger.
Similar format, except it's not a TV broadcast. It's more like videotapes. But like the first one's trying to make me scared of the moon, and the second one's like Skinwalkers / Neptune's being a bit of a dick.
Neptunes?
So, yeah, Neptune, the planet, not Pharrell and Chad.
Grinding.
I'm surprised I remembered the other one's name. But yeah, so those two definitely.
Nobody remembers Chad Hugo's
I
name.
know.
Everybody's just like,
Yeah.
fuck that dude. He's like the brains.
So yeah,
I did-
Analog Horror. I also watched The Penguin season 1, and it was fantastic.
It's
too.
so
Oh my
good.
god, I really want to watch that. It's not even something that genuinely would interest me usually,
You
but
would like it.
yeah,
Colin
everyone is
Colin
like, it's
Farrell
so
is
fucking good.
unreal. Like
Dude,
I've never watched them being like, oh, that's definitely Colin Farrell. Not one moment did I think,
No.
that's Colin Farrell.
His transformation's
Really?
insane.
Oh my
Colin
god.
You do not
Farrell's
recognize him.
so criminally underrated. As
Yeah,
No,
an
great-
he
actor.
great actor.
is. I
Dude's
used to have
amazing in everything.
a fat crush on him, but I forgot what it was.
Me too.
Like, I used to love him. Like, oh my
Phone
god, he
Booth
used to
is
be like,
underrated.
oh my god, yeah, it is. That's a great single location horror movie. I think that's what it was. I think that's what started like my celebrity crush on him.
Was Phone Booth.
Yeah.
Brian, the thing you shared of Jurassic Park, the analog movie that like the fan made thing, I wish they would make that into a horror movie because that was really cool.
Yeah, I think there's a couple other episodes, but that's one where he's really refined his like how he's done it. Although he doesn't have Jurassic Park money, so the dinosaurs aren't perfect.
Right.
It's really, really well done. I can't remember what it's called, Return to Isla Sorna or something.
Mhm.
But yeah.
How
There's
many
a
of them
Godzilla one too.
Yeah, there is a Godzilla one. How many of them did you steal off Marcel?
All of them. That's where I
Okay,
got my
cool.
content.
Okay, cool. Just figured. Yeah.
Wait, what's the Jurassic Park one called?
I put it in the chat, but obviously you ignored it. Return to Isla Sorna, I think.
Yeah.
Brian, let's just separate and create our own podcast. They don't
Dude,
lie.
I know.
You probably should at this point. What did you watch this week, Seth?
Blink Twice, which I absolutely
Oh.
loved.
Banger.
Yeah, that was insane. It got dark fast, but it was really, really good. And
Yeah.
for Zoe Kravitz, like first like directorial debut, I thought she absolutely crushed it.
I agree.
So good.
And then I don't think I've already seen it, but Upgrade. And I watched it again the other day, and I forgot that Lee Winnell directed it. And that
Mhm.
movie is so freaking good. That ending is just brutal, though.
It's so good.
I haven't watched it in a long time, so like I've completely forgot everything about it.
It's
I
on
just remember
Netflix
the
now.
scene where he's on the floor and it robots him up.
Yeah,
It's so cool the way he's shot. Like I don't know how it's called, but the camera moves in the same way.
it's
Yeah.
really cool.
I love when they do shit like that.
Yeah,
Okay, I
it
need
goes
to
hard
rewatch
too.
it.
Like
Mhm.
it has no business going as hard as it does. I watched a couple great things this week actually.
Ooh.
I will get to the big one that I am over the moon about, but I watched a movie yesterday called Mudbrick that's coming out December 13th. It's a folk horror movie about two brothers that are separated, and one lives in England and the other one lives in Serbia. And they were separated because of their family and like strains with their dad and their mom. So the father passes and leaves the house to the kid that was estranged. And he comes back to like do the paperwork and assess the house and everything. And it was a really, really deep dive on generational trauma and Serbian folklore, like to the point that it was so interesting that I was Googling like that folklore while I was watching it to help me understand it.
Mhm.
And it's a really, really slow burn, which I like. Like I'm talking like slow, like handling the undead for like the first hour.
Oh
But when
god.
it gets to the point of where it picks up at, it goes so fucking hard, like the beginning of Devil's Bath over and over and over again hard. Like shit that's just like
Oh.
holy fucking shit. Like it was so good. It's so worth it. I enjoyed it. The guy that made it's really nice. I hope it does well. And I also watched Silent Night because Gigi and Justin and Sydney told me to watch it. And anytime they tell me to watch something, I just immediately watch it. So
Steph is like, I'm gone off the pod.
So I honest to God, I know we talked about it. I didn't remember talking about it. And I watched it last night and I couldn't have been happier because I think that movie's made for me. I think it's an absolute masterpiece. It is so dark and fucked up, but it's so funny. Like even like in the text chat this morning, like the little kids getting into an argument, like you didn't call her a bloody cunt. Like, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
it's fucked up, but like it's so real. And it being made during the pandemic and like, the thought of what they had to do in the movie was very real to like how people had to deal with life which hit me really deeply because that was a trying time for everybody. But
Oh, yeah.
to put a deep, dark, black comedic spin on that, it was so. And every Keira Knightley, like everybody in there, even the kids, like, and it's rare kid actors like really sell it, and like those little
He's
kids
phenomenal.
were
I mean,
phenomenal.
all of them, but
All
the
of them were.
main
But the main,
kid.
oh yeah, they were phenomenal, and it was dark and brooding. And I put my letterbox review, now that I'm a letterbox aficionado. Thank you, Seth, for encouraging
Ooh.
me to do that.
That was
Um, it's very much like Melancholia, Lars von Trier meets The Mist is the feeling that movie
Yes.
gave me. It's like a nice blend of that, except it's funny. Like there's some funny shit in there that just really got. I loved it. Like I want to watch it 100 more times. That's how much I loved it. So
It's also interesting that it deals with, like, I feel like not a lot of movies deal with, like, autonomy with children, like, how he was so adamant about this certain decision that he wanted to make for himself, and they were like, "No,
right,
you're just a kid," and it's like, that's just so powerful because it's like, we don't really dive into that a lot, with,
right.
like, in cinema, I feel like, or at least from the movies that I've seen, where
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, what do you do if your kid is so adamant about this decision that they wanna make, but you're against it? Like, I just thought that I don't know, that was just, like, really
He
hard to, like,
wasn't.
wrap your mind around.
Yeah, and he wasn't having it. He was like, no.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck
He's
this.
like,
I'm not
"Fuck
doing this.
this."
Yeah.
Yeah. Which for okay, because in our last episode, for those that are confused about what this movie is, because Seth had forgotten what the title was. So in our
Yeah.
last episode, this is the movie. The movie is called Silent Night. It's streaming on Netflix, but it's the movie that has to do with, he was talking about, like, there's like a gas that's going on outside, and then everybody is like having this, like, family is having a dinner
Mhm.
party. So that was the movie. We just had forgotten what the name
Mhm.
was.
And
Um
it does follow under what we talked about last week because they do have a dinner party.
Yeah, it's like a
Mhm.
whole last Christmas dinner that they're
And
having,
I
so
don't think it's spoiling it to say what the dinner party is about. Because I mean, I guess it takes a minute to find out like why they're really there because it's just to build up a family and everything. So I don't want to spoil it, but I'll tell you what, if you want to just have your guts leveled, just punch in the
yeah.
fucking gut. Like it's that kind of movie. Like it just hits very hard. I love dark, fucked up shit. It was really, really good. Very, very pleased with it. I'm really glad that I watched it. And now we're going to dive into what we all presumably have said in the past is our least favorite subgenre of horror. And I'm realizing that it
But
really
we're
isn't.
liars.
We are.
Yeah.
We're a bunch
It's
of
my favorite.
fucking no good
Fucking
liars.
bullshitters, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, you big bullshitter. Little greasy strangler shout out there. So, what do you think now that you have accepted that you're a lover of comedy horror? What do you think makes comedy and horror blend so well together? Like, why is it? Because it is a very popular subgenre that I
Yeah.
didn't even realize is as popular as it is, but it is. So, anybody that wants to jump in and start, like, why do you think that comedy and horror go so well together?
Listen, y'all are haters, okay? Because I was on this bandwagon from the start of time. I love horror comedies, and I think the reason people like horror comedies is because it kind of levels the darkness with, like, if you can do it right, the perfect amount of humor and like horror, it just is like the perfect combination. Like sometimes horror can get very dark and very brutal, and having that comedic side can kind of, like I said, like level it out and make it more like open for people to enjoy it in a way. And
Yeah.
it also creates kind of like a fun atmosphere, especially when you go to a movie theater and watch like a horror comedy. Like there are times that where like you're not supposed to laugh, but somebody else in the theater laughs, and I think that's just absolutely hilarious, and it's just
It's
a whole experience.
it's contagious.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about you, Brian? Gigi, go ahead, Gigi. Fuck Brian. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say everybody loves, like, comedic relief. Like, I think
Hmm.
that's, like, the just the best part of, like, certain movies is a natural, like, comedic relief, and I think that's why I always say that, like, I don't like horror comedy is because I don't like when it's, like, too, like, cheesy, like, when it's
Mhm.
cheesy comedy, but when it's a natural when you constantly get this, like, natural comedic relief that, like, that you love in other movies, you're like, "Oh, then I love this in, like, a horror comedy." For example, which we'll get into, but I'm thinking of, like, Totally Killer, like, just absolutely
Love that.
perfectly placed, like, natural comedic relief. Okay, Brian hater. Um,
It's a banger.
But yeah, I think that's why I just love a natural comedic relief. It just feels, I don't know, you get all the feelings where it's like you're
It makes
scared
it
or
less
like,
real too. Like it
yeah,
makes it, yeah.
yeah,
I think it
yeah,
has to be really balanced though, because there are certain movies that like try to blend comedy and horror, and it's like a real serious horror movie that has like comedy that just falls flat, that kind of takes you out of it, ruins it. So
yeah.
it's definitely an acquired taste, but it's also not the easiest thing to pull off because comedy is a really tough thing to do. What say you, Brian?
Yeah, so obviously they're two of the strongest emotions and hardest ones to get out of a movie is to make somebody scared or make somebody laugh is it's difficult because not everyone is scared of the same stuff or finds the same stuff
Right.
funny. So that's why when it hits hard because they've done two things right, which of course you're going to love something if it can make you laugh and make you scared.
Right. And to make you laugh like while you're being scared, like when these deep, tense moments to like, chuckle, it really catches you off guard that they can come back with like another scare and really get you because you let your guard down. I think it's
Yeah.
yeah, it makes perfectly good sense. Um so after looking through and prepping for the show, as I know you all spent a good bulk of your day yesterday deep diving in
Uh-huh.
and prepping and practicing,
I was at the Claire.
I'm ready.
yeah,
I was
to
at the
be
Claire.
to
Oh yeah. So I was at the
this is
club
he
last
was at the
night, dude.
club. He was all demure at the club. So if you had to pick what your favorite horror comedy is, and this was way tougher than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was gonna,
Yes.
like I had like an immediate answer, and when I started digging through, I was like, I'm such a no good rotten liar. So what's your favorite horror comedy? Like what's the first thing that comes to mind, or one that you love, seen a million times, and you can't say Ghostbusters?
Shaun of the Dead.
Fucking A, right?
Oh, that's a great one.
It's so
So
good.
good.
Oh god, I need to rewatch it. It's been years since I've seen Shaun of
So
the Dead.
good.
Just so
Um,
beautiful. Like everything is so planned out and like a shot early where he's hung over and then they do it again, but there's zombies around. It's just perfectly done. Like watching the behind the scenes and talk like Edgar, whatever his name is, Edgar Wright, talking about how he made it. It's just unreal how much effort went into that.
Remember when we met
oh,
Nick
I
Frost?
Remember what?
When we met Nick Frost at
Yeah,
Fantastic Fest?
yeah. He liked. Did you say he didn't like you? 'Cause he liked me plenty.
Oh no, he liked me. He was really
no, it
nice.
was me. It was
It was
me
you.
at the
Oh,
beginning.
that's understandable.
He was like, whatever.
Whatever.
That's just a British
Yeah.
thing.
Fuck her, yeah.
Shaun of the Dead, that's a great one. I need to rewatch that. I already know what Seth's is. Ready or Not, duh. And
It's so
then
hard though, because there's like 3 that are like very closely tied together.
Wait,
wait,
whoa, 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 whoa,
what?
whoa, whoa, whoa,
To-
whoa, whoa, whoa,
He's,
whoa.
he said he's
Um,
watched Totally Killer before.
Please,
no, Ready or Not for sure.
Uh-huh.
American Werewolf in London and
Okay.
Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, Cabin in the Woods. That's so good.
Like, I love those 3 movies so much, and, like, American Werewolf in London was, like, the first, like, horror comedy I feel like it's kind of, like, what made me fall in love with horror comedies in general.
do you think Ready or Not's really a horror comedy?
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, I think it fits.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really
What
funny.
about you, Gigi?
Yeah,
I
Gigi,
don't
go.
think I don't think it's
Okay.
funny either.
This is really hard because I always was like, oh yeah, horror comedies, they're like whatever. But then there are so many good ones. I have to say though, uh, it would have to be Jennifer's Body.
Oh, I love
It's a
that.
good
That's
one.
that's my favorite horror
It is
comedy.
a good
Like
one.
looking at all like the greats, I'm like, yeah, Jennifer's Body,
I
100%.
love that.
Chuck and Brian, you just said you don't see, Ready or Not as a horror comedy. The lady
No, I
shoots
said I don't think it's funny. I didn't
Oh,
think
yeah,
it's
the
horror
lady
comedy.
gets shot with a freaking crossbow by accident.
Do you know what? Do you know what? And I just rewatched it because it's on my list of because I was going to start a series of rewatching things that I absolutely hate. And the first two, obviously, on my list were Hereditary and Ready or Not. I shut Hereditary off in 28 minutes
Wow.
because I just can't fucking stand it. It's the little girl. That's what
Ooh.
it is. I just don't like her. Like
Oh, okay, that's fair.
she's campy, and when she starts doing the click thing, like it's just so hokey to me that it takes me out of it. And that's just me. Like I really want to like it.
You know why she does the clicky thing though, right?
Yes.
I mean, she's not in the movie that long. Just sink through it.
No, I understand that, but then it transitions to the kid, and the kid is even worse.
Oh,
Like
wow.
he's
That's a
bad.
hot take.
He's Babadook bad. Like that kid is awful. He's a terrible actor. Sorry, buddy. Like you're making more money than me, but
What?
you
need to go watch Green Knight.
I
Yeah,
can't.
You need to go watch
on
Green
your own,
Knight.
yeah.
Yeah, you're on your own. That is a hot
What?
take.
I'll be on my own. I just don't. He
I'll
just
be on my own. Yeah.
he doesn't do it for me.
You
Like,
and Devin over there, Devin JWoww's movie, y'all could be on your own island over there.
It's okay.
But
What the heck-
not
what
Devin
the heck-
Sawa, because
Not Devin Sawa.
it's-
Yeah.
Jojo Sawa.
Well, did
He's
you
on
know?
he's on our
See?
island.
And bringing it all full circle, Chad Hugo now spins for parties for JoJo Siwa all the time. So like that's where Chad Hugo's
shit.
been.
Okay.
So just to bring that all back together. What did it for me in Ready or Not? And I'm so picky, but the old lady, like the grandma lady, is so bad in that movie. Like she's awful. Her lines are so like it just didn't do it for me. Like it's okay. Like I liked it better. It's like a 2-star movie, 2.5 maybe at best for me. But I hate Abigail too, so maybe I just don't like Radio Silence. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel bad because Radio Silence liked one of our or one of them did like one of our posts once, but I do like their VHS segment. So.
I do too.
Oh,
I think they're great people. I'm not like shitting on it. It's just not for me. Like I don't hate it. They're well-made movies. They have bright ideas. The gore's great. Like it's just not for me. So here I come with a weirdo pick.
Ooh.
Well, I was looking through like what I really like horror comedies, and there's so many of them. Like Ghostbusters really could be it because I thought that movie was funny since I was a kid. And then I thought about the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I absolutely love, but it doesn't have like enough comedy for me to say it's a horror comedy. It's more like a campy horror musical.
Yeah.
But it does got some funny shit in it. And I never thought I would make this pick, but I'm going with Zombieland.
Zombieland's great.
Because from the opening sequence, like when I sat down in the theater and they hit that "For Whom the Bell Tolls" Metallica, I was like, I'm in for some shit right now. Like you just knew it. But there is such genuinely hilarious moments. And obviously, like that movie could have been absolute shit and they would have hit you with that cameo because I think that might be the greatest cameo of all time.
Yes.
And it's fucking hilarious.
Yes.
So that was my pick after looking through it. I was just like, wow, I've seen Zombieland so many times. And then I also got to relive it with my kids because it's a gateway horror movie. I mean, I felt it was completely appropriate for them to learn the rules in case we do have a zombie apocalypse. So I was very grateful for that. So if that's your favorite horror comedy, like what's an underrated, like what's your most underrated one that you like, that you find funny, that you would like to talk about? Gigi, I see your wheels spinning up there.
I know, because you know what horror comedy I love that I feel like does not get enough credit is Scare Me, because it came out in 2020. It was directed by Josh Rubin, who also just had the previous segment or this last segment in the Creep Tapes. I love Josh Rubin. I think he's a fucking genius, but it also has Aya Cash in it. Have you ever seen it, Scare Me?
Yes, I'm watching it tonight.
Oh, it's so good. And it's a small cast. There's literally only 3 people. For most of the movie, it's just 2 people.
Really?
And it's about it's on Shudder or Hoopla. But it's during a power outage, 2 strangers tell scary stories. The more Fred and Fanny commit to their tales, the more the stories come to life in the dark of the Catskills cabin. The horrors of the reality manifest when Fred confronts his ultimate fear. Fanny is the best storyteller. It's so good. Oh, it's like genuinely fucking hilarious. I love Scare Me. I do not think it gets enough credit. And I think Josh Rubin is a fucking genius. So
I'm gonna watch it because now that I only listen to your recommendations, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
100%. What about you, Seth?
It's a tough one. I feel like there's like most of the ones that I've seen are like actually no. The Blackening. I think The Blackening is super underrated.
Oh, The Blackening is funny. Yeah.
And I think that movie's hilarious.
I think the only thing I would maybe change from The Blackening, just because it felt out of place, was the person that turns out to be the killer. Like they were so over the top, nerdy, and I'm like, if you toned that down a little bit, I'd be like, okay. But yeah, there was some proper laugh out loud moments in that.
Yeah, and it's, like, very obvious, like, they don't hide, like, who it
No.
is, like, from literally right in the beginning of the movie who the killer is, but I guess it's just more of those, like, "Oh, well, why?" Or, like, I don't know, you're just along for the journey to figure it out, but
The
yeah, but
Babysitter's also another good one.
oh, The Babysitter's so fucking good, I love that. Doesn't that have freaking what's her name in it?
Yeah, Samara
Babe
Weaving.
The
There's, like, a
No,
bunch
not
of
Babysitter's
sequels too.
so good.
Bella Thorne.
Oh, yeah, she is in that one.
It has Bella Thorne in it, and I
You know
know
you
that
can. You don't have to pick every Samara Weaving movie every
I'm sorry.
2 weeks.
Okay. I
She's
love
not
all her
she's not watching the podcast yet.
I love
She
all
need
her horror comedies, okay?
she needs to have her own genre at this point.
Shamara Weaving, yeah, she's great.
Yeah. It should just be called Samara Weaving Covered in Blood because it's glorious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. What about you, Brian?
I'm gonna go Psycho Gorman, which I think I've
Ooh.
mentioned on this before, but
Mhm.
like just the humor in that just tickles me. It's just
I still
Aw,
haven't seen it.
it just tickles me.
yeah. Have you seen it, Chuck?
Psycho Gorman, yes, I
Yeah.
have.
Okay, because
And I
expect you
think
to say, like you hate the little girl in that as well. 'Cause
no,
I can see why people hate it.
I
I
think
think
it's
it's great.
I think it's great. I don't know if it's my kind of humor, like, but I don't hate it, you know what I mean? But some of it lands and some of it doesn't. And that's the thing with horror comedy or even comedy in general. Like comedy is just the comedy genre is so hit or miss for so many people because none of us have the same sense of humor. You know, it's really, really hard to get a comedy to land for, look at the great comedies, you know what I mean? Like the greatest comedy, like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation or Elf or, you know, movies like that. Like they have like a general thing that pleases everybody. That's like a really hard thing to do. But yes, Psycho Gorman's a great movie. I just
That
don't
is
know if I
good.
find it like hilarious.
Valid.
My underrated pick, and it's something that I seen at the beginning of last year for the first time, is a film called Uncle Peckerhead. And Uncle Peckerhead is about this punk band that gets signed to do their very first tour, and they don't have like a vehicle or anything, so they go to this mechanic to buy this van, and they run into this guy that works there who offers, to like be their roadie basically for free and go on this tour. And when they ask him what his name is Peckerhead, and they don't believe him. But there is a problem with Uncle Peckerhead because every night at midnight, for 5 minutes, he turns into this flesh eating monster. And they know
For
that
5 minutes?
yeah, but
Is it a woodpecker?
listen, it goes so hard. And like
I've heard of this movie.
well, the thing that's funny about it is like they know that this is going to happen and that they're put in a position where they could like die, but they love him so much because he's like the nicest fucking guy on earth that turns into this monster. And it is so well done. All the kids that are in the band and the actors, I mean, everybody just sells it. Like it's fantastic for my sense of humor. Like I highly recommend.
If I remember correctly, it's got the poster for it goes really hard, does it not?
Yeah, the poster's awesome.
Yeah, the poster's awesome. Yeah,
That's all I remember about it is that poster. I didn't know what it was about.
But the
Chuck,
poster goes so hard that you could like think that like if you just see the poster, you'd be like, oh, this is just like some dumbass Tubi movie, and like it's not. It's good. It's well rated too.
Can you
Go
stop
ahead, Seth.
hating on my subgenre, please?
Yeah,
Okay,
on his chibi.
I will.
Chuck,
Chibi.
we didn't
It's
mention
Chibi
Vicious
movie.
Fun. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Vicious
I
Fun as an underrated
love
horror comedy.
Really good.
Vicious Fun rips.
Yeah, that's a great one. Vicious Fun is really is fun. Another one that I also love that I feel like it's starting to kind of get its flowers is Deadstream. That's another
Yeah.
great one, but I still feel like
rips.
a lot of people still haven't seen it.
I think that's one of the few that's feels more horror than comedy, whereas a lot of horror comedies feel more comedy with bits of horror in them.
100%.
Deadstreams actually feels scary, which is rare.
To all our FNF fans, and I'm sorry, Blumhouse, but Willy's Wonderland did it better.
I still haven't seen Willy's Wonderland.
That's hilarious.
Oh, I haven't either. That has Nick Cage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that one.
I did like the FNAF movie, but also out of context, I liked it, but I also watched it with my kids, who were like talking about all the lore of Chica, and I mean they just know the whole thing, so like it made it
was
more
fine.
interesting for me. Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah,
it was definitely the best of the Blumhouse movies that year.
Yeah,
I just thought it was funny. Like he didn't strike me as like a dad. Like that's the only thing that I thought was like because I thought the movie was like totally fine. I don't really know enough about FNAF, but like literally like the entire time I was like, man, he's not giving dad vibes. Like I don't know. Like even though I know that he was like a young dad, I was like, I literally is just still what's his name? I forget his name.
Josh Hutcherson.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was
Yeah.
in the Hunger Games.
Hunger Games, yeah, but
Yeah.
I just don't remember, his name, but I was like, "I don't know why." I'm like, "He just is not striking me as a father."
He's
Just
all
for anyone
fallen.
listening, it's like, what the fuck is FNAF? Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at
Yes.
Freddy's, FNAF.
Yep.
FNAF,
FNAF.
baby. That's like whenever we say Mithrigan, somebody messaged me one day and was like, "What the fuck is Mithrigan?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, it's Megan."
Yes,
Mithrigan.
it's that big Mithrigan. Another one that I think is criminally underrated, and I doubt that any actually, did Brian see it or did Seth see it? I know Gigi didn't see it.
Oh god, what?
If I had to pick, I'm gonna pick Brian. I think Brian might have seen it, but not
I've
Seth.
not.
Have any of you seen Bubba Hotep with
No.
Bruce Campbell?
I think you told me to watch it.
Is that the one where he's like looks like an Elvis?
No,
Yeah.
he really is Elvis. They think
Okay.
he's an
Not
Elvis
sure then.
impersonator, and he wakes up in an old folks home, and Ossie Davis plays John F. Kennedy Jr. But
Oh, that's so good.
obviously he's a black guy, but he really believes that he's John F. Kennedy, and all these old people start dying in the old folks home, and it's this ancient mummy called Bubba Hotep that they have to like stop and save from killing all the old folks. And like Bruce Campbell's hilarious in anything that he's in, like when he wants to be comedic. That movie is such a fucking gem because it's hilarious from beginning to end. It's not like crazy violent. It's just a buddy road movie in an old folks home with Elvis and JFK that's fucking hilarious. So I figured I would have to
That
put it
sounds
out there
fun.
because it's so fucking good. So
Is
go ahead, Jeech.
Oh, no, because this might be one of your questions.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, is there a horror comedy that people love that you hate that you're just like, "I just don't" is that one of your questions?
No, it's not one of my questions, but I could probably give you 50 of them.
I give you one.
Okay, give me one because there's really not a lot that I'm like, "Oh, no, I hated that."
Like hate it, like
Yeah.
despise it. Oh, I want to hear it. Good. That's a good question. Good, Seth.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
Seth.
I like kind of like it just didn't do anything for me. Like I don't
Oh,
absolutely
okay.
despise it, but like I just don't get the hype behind it. Is honestly the What We Do in the Shadows movie. I think the TV show is infinitely better than the movie itself. I don't know. I just like the humor for the movie just didn't work for me.
I think the movie's great, but TV show is better.
Yeah.
I like the movie, but
I've never seen the movie, but I
I
agree.
wouldn't say it's hilarious. It's not something I would describe as hilarious.
Yeah, I just love Jermaine Clement, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I just anytime he speaks, I kind of find it funny. So Flight of the Conchords is amazing.
Do you know it's a movie that I really fucking hated that's a comedy, and it's something that let me down so much because I wanted to see it so bad and I had such high hopes?
What?
Beetlejuice 2.
Not seen it.
Oh, okay,
Justice
okay. I
for
liked
Bob.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair though.
I mean, there was some some funny moments in it, and I love Michael Keaton because he's a Pittsburgh guy, and like I just fucking think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
But that whole entire character that was coming to kill him was so useless. Like she was like
Oh.
window dressing, and if they could have developed her and made her so like that could have been the greatest sequel of all time. Like it had that potential, and they did
Yes.
nothing with it. And let's have a moment of silence for everybody out there that's listening to this pod. We're going to take 3 seconds. Sydney, we're sorry to bring up your PTSD for such a traumatic incident. We need to have a moment of silence for Bob.
For Bob.
Bob
Rip.
RP.
Rest in peace, Bob.
It's What's Inside. That would be the movie I'd actually pick. I know Gigi, you absolutely loved it, and I need to maybe watch it again. But I was just like, what is this movie? Like
It's a
it's a
comedy,
worse version of Bodies
though.
Bodies. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a comedy.
Wait, It's What's Inside is that new one on Netflix?
Mhm.
Yeah, I fucking loved it.
I haven't watched it yet.
I think you're gonna like it, Chuck.
It's
I
on-
think it's mindfuck.
Do you know what's weird is that one and Caddo Lake, which are two movies that are made for the kind of movies that I like from reading about them, have been on my list for a while. So maybe I'll knock them out today.
I think Cattle Lake was just okay. Like
Okay.
I like not bad. I don't think it was bad, but I thought it was like I thought it was like, oh, okay, that was okay.
But It's What's Inside, you really liked it?
Oh, like I loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars.
Really?
Yeah, I like literally loved it. There's only one tiny little detail that I would have changed that would have made it like a 5-star movie, but it's such a me kind of movie. Like I loved it.
Oh, well, this will be my second GG 4.5-star movie that I watch.
Hell yeah.
What about you, Brian? What do you hate? We know you're a hater.
Yeah, I hate most things. So
I hate most
did Chad Hugo direct it?
I like that too, though. So
Yeah, me
like,
too.
I'm a huge Neptunes fan. So I turned bodies off because I thought it was
What?
so cringy. Like, I
That's
know it's like a
Aw.
Gen Z movie, and I'm clearly not a Gen Z, and I was like, this is just I don't get the love for this.
I love it.
Totally Killer, I thought played it far too safe with
Mhm.
its thing.
You're such a
Uh,
hater,
but
dude.
like
Yeah.
Hey,
the Final
motherfucker.
Girls did that so much better. The meta
I
I
love the
haven't seen
Final
it.
Girls.
Final Girls is fucking great.
So did the Tragedy Girls.
Yes, but
Is
did
that
that back in time, or that was just the two girls that were trying to make a name for themselves?
Yeah, they were
Right.
trying to make a name for themselves, but they kind of went back. Like, it's similar to me.
The poster for it is great
Mhm.
for Tragedy Girls. To be fair, I probably dislike more horror comedies than I like because it's so hard to get it right that
Yeah, totally.
so I'm like it's like I'll watch them. Like usually they're like it's okay to watch, but I wouldn't watch them again. So it's pretty much all the GG's picks usually. Hate them.
Pretty much. Is there
I don't
anything? Go ahead, Gigi. What do
no, I
you
was gonna
hate?
say I don't
You're
no,
a hater.
I literally
Keep
don't
talking over her.
know.
it's
Wait, what?
hard.
It's
What'd you
hard
say,
to
Brian?
it's hard to pick what
Just
you
keep
hate.
keep talking over her.
I know. It's
Yeah. But
I
anyway, so
I
yeah, it's okay. Oh, you were
I don't
talking.
think
Go
there
ahead,
is
Gigi.
I don't think there is one that I genuinely like disliked, to be honest with you. I feel like there's yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like a liar and like there are I
You
think
are.
okay, I think the thing is that it's hard to put me in the mood to want to watch a horror comedy, but then when I do, I end up like actually liking them. So I think that's what it
I'm
is.
gonna convert you all one at a time. Okay.
Listen, I'm such a fucking liar because I listen. We're rewinding because we can do that in our own universe, but I'm gonna take back Zombieland, even though I absolutely love Zombieland. But I
Uh-huh.
will hate myself forever because I think Idle Hands might be the greatest horror comedy
I was
ever
hoping somebody
fucking
would.
made.
I have a not
And,
particularly interesting story
minus
about Idle Hands.
Seth
Oh,
Green, who's
that's
a
fucking
complete
funny.
total
That's
piece of shit of a human
wrong.
being. But it's hilarious.
I have a not very funny story about Idle Hands, but I'm going to tell it anyway. So,
Tell it.
like when it first released, I can't remember what year it was. I had a
1999.
okay, so I was having a friend over for a sleepover, so I was saying to like mum and dad, like, tell him to pick up a video for us all to watch that night, and that's the movie he picked. And like, if you've seen it, my mum and dad are like, "What the fuck is this?" And I said to him, I was like of all the movies that came out in 1999, which was one of the best years for movies, I was like, why did you pick that? He's like, just 'cause the girl in it was hot. So to be fair, that's a good eye
That
because
is, yeah.
that
To
girl
be
was
fair.
Jessica Alba. So
Right. Be fair.
he did not get to pick movies ever again.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my god.
I forgot to just throwing this out, and it's not like I wish it had a release date because I don't think it has a release date or anything. But my like underrated pick would have actually been Dead Talent Society because that was one of my favorite films I saw at Fantastic
Oh.
Fest, and it was hysterical, but also like terrifying.
I'm mad that I didn't get to see it.
Like
Yeah, same. It's
I
also
loved it.
crazy that it landed on, like, the Letterbox, like, when that came out, like, in October
Mhm.
or whatever, when it landed on Letterboxd's, like, top, horror movies, and, like, everyone was like, "This movie isn't even out yet. How is
Yeah.
this on the top?" I mean, maybe it's released in other countries, you know, because 'cause we're so egocentric. I'm like, "What the fuck?" But I'm just like, I still think that's crazy that it could land on, like, a top list where, like, it hasn't released, I feel like, in most countries.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I want
reach out to the plug and see if I can get it.
please, like it is. I
I think the
absolutely
bu- I think
loved it
the
with my whole heart.
I think the Bone Lake lady can get it.
Oh, she probably can.
Yeah, I don't want to mention her name on the air because people will badger her. But okay, so we're gonna tap into
Go back.
it's creativity time, and we're gonna tap into our creative juices and get the creative juices flowing. So, if you were to make a horror comedy, you were the director, what would your horror comedy be about, and who would star in it?
Ooh.
Ooh, tick tick. There goes the brains.
Oh
Mhm.
no.
Oh, yeah, so we didn't prepare.
No.
Yeah, yeah. See, we're all prepared.
Uh,
100%.
Let's
Freestyle it, Gigi. Come on, you're a bright girl. Let's go.
oh, thank
Brian, what
you.
about you?
Gigi was first.
yeah. She was first.
All I know is Seth's is going to involve a courtroom and a shark.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like okay, you know what I think? Because I love any type of movie that has to do with siblings,
Mm,
and so I feel like I would do a horror comedy about siblings, because I feel like that's something that like you could most people can relate to. But I just don't know like what the premise would be. I don't know if it would. I don't
Would you
know.
call it Siblings?
I feel like that's
Maybe
already a movie called
you think it's a
Siblings.
movie? It's
Siblings?
probably is siblings
Probably, yeah.
or like yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'd call it. I haven't thought of a title yet. I
Okay,
don't
so
know.
here, we'll make it a little easier. We'll refine a little bit.
I just had a
Okay.
really good one too.
But go ahead. No, go
Oh
ahead,
no
Seth.
no
I
no
wanna hear
go.
it. Yeah, I wanna hear it.
Okay, so I have two actually. I was just thinking about it. Uh, the first one I want to talk about is I want it to take place in a synagogue, in a temple. We're gonna have a haunted yarmulke, you know,
Oh,
just floating
And
around chasing people. Okay,
like slacks or
exactly.
rubber. Okay.
Because, like, first of all, when you get together with a Jewish family, it's very hectic. It's very stressful. Add in that, and then you have something like killing everybody there. I think that would just be, and I really want the main actress from Bodies to be in
Wait,
it.
what's
there's
her
a
name?
lot of them in there.
I don't know. I turned it off.
The what's her name? Because she was in a movie called Shiva Baby, which was absolutely
Oh,
hysterical.
yes,
Shiva
I
Baby
forget her
was
name.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Oh my
Rachel
god.
Sennett. Yes, right, Rachel
Yes.
Sennett.
Is that her?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah,
She's so good. She's so
she was
funny.
so good, and, like, that movie was, like, the exact I want that amount of stress pushed over into, like, a horror movie, and then, like, having this, like, yarmulke chasing people. I think
Okay.
that would be
I
pretty
love
funny, or
that.
like the
I
Torah.
could get down with that. I feel like we have a lack of Jewish cinema. So
We
I
do. Something. And
Let
then
me
okay.
give you Go ahead.
the other one, I wanna go we're going to Australia, I think, or New
Ooh,
Zealand. I think they're New Zealand.
I
Oh.
like New
And,
Zealand.
you know those quokkas that are always smiling that are,
You
like,
and
the
these fucking
friendliest thing?
quokkas.
Fucking
Yes.
Quokers, I
Yep,
knew it was
You and
coming.
these
it's coming. And we're gonna have a horror movie just like, Cocaine Bear, Cocaine Quokka.
Can somebody please make Seth famous and give him a large paycheck
I
so
know.
he can have a farm of
Or
Quokers?
just give him a
Government of
fucking quote.
Australia. Government of
When's
Australia,
but
if you're
Wednesday
watching this, fly him
yeah.
over. Jesus.
Yeah,
Wednesday
I
needs a
know.
bigger yard.
Wednesday just came in and said, "Fuck them Quokkas."
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, "I'm here." Listen, I wanted to do the shark in the courtroom, but, I've already told that story, so why not go with another little cute animal, a little quokka.
So now we have Yamaka the Revenge
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
Cocaine Quokka. I
Cocaine
I
quokka.
love it. It makes for a very good double feature. Seth, have you seen The Offering?
I have not.
The Offering is a Jewish horror film, and it's really
Oh,
good.
okay.
Um,
Isn't that on Hulu? Or am I crazy?
I think it is on Hulu.
Okay.
It came
I've
out
almost
in
watched it like 1,000
It's on
times.
Hulu,
2020.
and you are
Mhm.
crazy. So
It's
Shut the
yes, I
hell up.
agree. It's definitely gonna involve some, if you're not familiar with, like, Jewish religion deeply, like, you have to, Google a few things to figure some stuff out, but it's scary, it's good. So since the creative juices aren't flowing in the proper manner, maybe we reformat it because question number 5 is kinda like 4, and this might make it easier. So if you were gonna make a horror movie, and what would it be and who would star in it? But what's a classic horror movie, like a legit horror movie that you feel you could have or somebody could turn into a horror comedy? Like they took The Evil Dead and then they made The Evil Dead 2. They took the Texas Chainsaw
Yeah.
Massacre and then we got Chainsaw 2. Like what's another one? We also got Scream, and then we got all this fucking 852 iterations of Scary Movie. So what is a classic horror movie that you think would be a good vehicle to turn into a comedy? Is that easier for you, Gigi?
Ooh, okay, yeah.
I can't say the
Uh,
mist.
yeah.
You
Oh,
could
yeah,
see
I know. I'm like, I
yeah,
think The Mist.
yeah.
Um, let's see.
Jesus Christ.
I'm like, let me turn around and look.
Listen,
So
The
I
Mist, but it's a
think
comedy.
oh, well, okay, you know what I was gonna say? I know The Mist, but it's a comedy.
Instead of shooting a baby in the head, he just honks its nose. It's like, joke's on you.
That's one of those guns
I
that's got like a little bang.
Yeah, it has a little bang. It comes out. Five of them. Yeah.
oh my god. I actually somebody else go. A classic horror movie? I don't know. Jurassic Park?
I
That's not
mean,
really horror, it's sci-fi, but
you could do that. I mean, but they
mm,
also like because I was thinking about this whenever I come up with
I
the
don't wanna
question.
see that comedy.
No, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of like Scary Movie ruined a lot of these because they did like little parts, like
Yes.
they did the play on like The Exorcist and other things. So
Yes.
like I was trying to think of something that's like completely untouched. It would just, that you could
Ooh,
turn into a
Carrie?
comedy. Ooh, how would Carrie be a comedy?
I don't know.
Oh, I got one.
She
Okay,
would just be
go.
like a raging woman on her period. That's a
Whoa.
bad,
Hello? I just
it's a
kidding.
bad, it's a bad joke. See, humor's subjective, but you'll get
Oh,
that.
finally
You'll
getting
get that.
canceled.
You'll get that visual when you see the poster. Go ahead, Seth.
Uh,
Jesus Christ.
oh God. 13 Ghosts.
Oh, that's a good
Like, you
one.
could, like, flip it to, like, kinda like how Deadstream is, and then, like, them going through and, like, finding all these, like, different monsters and ghosts. I think 13 Ghosts would be a fun comedy.
13 ghosts, and then you could have 13 different comedians playing the ghosts, which would be really cool.
That'd be sweet. You gotta have Kevin Hart in there.
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
Well,
Anthony
that's yeah,
Jeselnik.
yeah.
Yeah, Anthony
Kevin Hart is
Jeselnik.
not funny, but he'd be, like, just I feel like he would be a funny angry ghost.
Dave Chappelle would make a great ghost.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
fair.
Mhm.
Okay,
What
let's
about you,
see.
Brian?
I'm gonna go It Follows, but
It's a good one.
That's a
the
good one.
guy is like a raging incel that starts off. So like obviously it's a horror comedy, so it's not going to go down the SA way, but it's just him trying desperately to lose it while but he's obviously overweight and everything. And this old lady's chasing him. He can't. He's out of breath. So yeah, It
Okay,
Follows.
that sounds good. This is hard. I don't know.
It's really hard. Like once you really think about it, I was trying to think of like super classic movies that could be, turned with a comedic element because there's a lot of classics too that are like comedies, but they're not really comedies that like are unintentionally funny that are serious
Yeah,
movies.
totally.
Like I think the first Child's Play, like obviously they got funnier as they went, but I don't think the first one was intended to be funny at all. And I always will remember when Chris Sarandon's driving the cop car and Chucky's under the seat, jabbing the knife up through the seat, and he's like jumping up and like I think it's fucking hilarious, but like it's not supposed to be hilarious.
Yeah.
Killer doll's trying to kill him.
No,
So
that's like in Candyman when Tony Todd flies out the window, and I'm
Yeah.
like, why did they do that?
you're right.
That's hilarious.
It catches you off guard because it's hilarious. I agree.
What if you turned Halloween into a horror comedy and it's just Michael trying to reunite with his sister the whole time? Like they were long lost brothers that they never knew each other, and he's
I
just following her around.
I was thinking Halloween. Like I was like, okay, like because I feel like that's something that you could turn
Yeah.
into. But I don't know if you. Well, yeah, I guess so. Because I was like, doesn't the brother aspect come in the second movie? Like that's not even in the first
Yeah,
movie.
they've
Yeah.
they've retconned that now as well, so it's not
Yeah,
really brother and sister.
Yeah.
Right.
God.
You can make it like a romantic comedy, and he's just like
Ooh,
he's just constantly trying to like find her and speak to her, but she keeps
Mhm.
avoiding him.
that's
He's
so.
really shy, so he's like hiding behind the bush and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, that's really good.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
You could
That's
even make
mine.
it like
I'm stealing Brian's.
a spin on like Cyrano de Bergerac, and like Dr. Loomis could hide behind the hedges with him and like speak to her and like be
Yeah.
Michael's voice because he's so shy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Or we can flip it so that it's a comedy that should be a horror, although it's a romantic comedy. Because I hate the start of The Notebook where he's like hanging
Oh.
off
Oh God,
the
it's so
whatever
toxic.
it is, and he's like,
Yeah.
I will kill myself if you don't out with me. And I'm like, that's not funny or romantic. That's
Yeah.
like that's incel behavior. Like so turn that into horror and she like kicks him off because he's a creep and he gets crushed Final Destination style. I'm like, yes, now The Notebook is good. So
Oh
that's
my
my move.
God. That
The
reminds me.
Notebook's fucked up.
No, it is.
Yeah.
When I was in the 8th grade, I went on a Ferris wheel with a boy and we were up at the very top.
You threw
And
him
then
off.
yeah, I wish. And then he was like, will you be my girlfriend? And I'm like, I'm fucking stuck in this Ferris wheel with you. I can't say no. Then we're going to be stuck on this ride. So I was like, yeah. And then once I got off the ride, I had to freaking like AOL.com email him to be like, we are actually not boyfriend and girlfriend. Goodbye.
Of these cute GG stories. These are great. And then my next boyfriend called aliens to Earth. So
Yeah, dude, I know. What is wrong with me?
Oh, step your game up, Zach. We've got no cool stories from
I
you.
know, right? What the hell?
That's so wild. So I just drew a complete blank, which is
Yeah,
kind of
I
funny.
saw
yeah.
that thought.
No,
I
like
saw it.
I had
Left
this
your
like
mind.
I had this amazing, amazing idea that I just don't have anymore, which is fine. So we come to the understanding that, horror comedy is not the easiest thing to do because of the way that you have to, do the transition and please so many people. So everybody in the audience out there, like whenever you like and subscribe and share us with your friends, because we are the greatest horror podcast on the planet, the Dark Screen Society, let us know in the comments, stitch our videos on Instagram. Let us know in the comments what your favorite horror comedy is, what you'd like to see turned into a horror comedy. And if you have seen any of the movies, which will be logged on Letterboxd, on our Dark Screen Letterboxd. The movies that we're suggesting to each other will be logged, and we'll keep track of this whole entire bracket. So next week we'll switch off, but our episode will be coming out on Wednesday when we discuss what our co-hosts have gave us, and we are going to step out in the most fantastic way because Gigi's going to let you know where to find us about our Ko-fi, because we are seriously on poverty level here, and just give us your fucking money because
Yeah,
we need
we
your
need it
money.
for
Like,
South by
we're
Southwest.
not just going to politely say we have a Ko-fi. Just like, listen, give us your fucking money because we want to succeed and we want to eat lamb and steak every day for dinner because we
I've
want
got
to
to
be
fly Seth to Australia as well, so we
yeah,
need to
we
put
got to
money
get
for that.
Seth to
Oh my God,
Australia. We're going
yeah.
to go
I
for
gotta
Loch
film my
Ness.
movie.
Yeah, we're going to go Loch Ness monster rides with Brian in Ireland.
Oh
Like, it's
yeah.
going to be a lot of fun. So, and Gigi has a real high profile lifestyle. So, we have to really
I
do that.
know.
Yeah. It's really, really, really tough.
She didn't even
So,
have her iced coffee today. She had to go store bought, so
I
she's
know, and
running
it's
out.
freaking
listen,
canned thing.
Yeah.
she's slumming it with a
I
can.
am. But we are on every podcast platform. And if you haven't already, if you could rate us, give us a 5-star rating if you can. And if you don't think it's 5 stars, then just don't rate it. And
It is
if
5 stars, except nothing less.
Yeah, we don't.
yes, and if you could like, share, comment, everything. Same thing with YouTube. If you haven't already subbed, liked, shared, comment over there, that would be great. Maybe put us on a little playlist. Keep us just
Right.
just playing. Just
Yeah.
rack up those plays, guys. We are begging right now.
Put it on repeat when you go to sleep. No harm, no
Exactly.
foul. Rack up them views.
Just love us.
And we have a Ko-fi in case you do want to donate monetarily. We're trying to get Chuck a microphone stand,
Oh,
like
I'm
my
gonna
little
just
fan
stop. I'm just gonna buy it.
my fancy microphone stand.
I
And
thought that was just
yes.
Zach holding it the whole time. I didn't know. It was
Yeah, I know, my assistant.
Yeah.
But really, in all reality, we love you. Just listening to us is enough, and liking, sharing, commenting really helps us get us out there. We'd love to do this forever and ever and ever, and keep putting out extra episodes
Forever.
forever
Ever.
and ever and ever.
Ever.
But
Love
and
that.
we also hope that you had a really great holiday, whether you spent it with friends, family, alone, or anything. I hope that you had a great time, that you ate well, that you feel loved and warm. It's getting freaking cold outside. And we will see you in the next episode. We love you. Stay haunting. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.